And for those who don't know, Scotland had a budget. Like the UK had its own budget, Scotland had its own budget, but they had a very good budget, much to the anger and the dismay of the established media. Things like the scrapping of two-child benefit cap and changes to basic and intermediate tax threshold are among the plans for the Scottish Government for the next financial year. Davey, could you kindly enlighten us and the rest of the world why this budget is so good for the people of Scotland, and the rest of the world should take a pinch out of it?
Well, we actually, for this particular wee boon, have been able to give back the winter fuel payment next year, and to be able to scrap a two-child tax. We can thank Rachel Reeves for that, and we can thank Liz Truss for that, because as you know, in Scotland we have a much more progressive tax system where everybody shares the burden much more equally. We have 6 tax bands, but because the entry level into tax is fixed at Westminster and is frozen up until 2029, because of inflation and the massive public sector pay rises, the Scottish Exchequer is taking in a wee of money, which means that we can pay it out in social policies, which the SNP always do, because we're a left of centre political party and a socialist party. So we're going to get rid of the two-child benefit tax at a cost of £150 million, and we're going to reinstate a winter fuel payment universally. Unfortunately, it'll be a much diminished one where everybody will get £100, but it's better than nothing.
It is.
But when you look at why we are where we are, it's got to do with something called the fiscal drag. And the fiscal drag started with the austerity drive, and it's to be continued to 2029 under this particular Labour government. And of course, thanks to Liz Truss crashing the fucking economy and global pressures pushing and inflation rates so high, the public sector have had massive pay rises. Scottish Executive, across the 6 tax bands, takes in an extra 770 million quid in income tax. Yahoo! But to be fair, they're not plugging any fiscal gap, because we can't borrow, and by law under the 1998 Scotland Act we have to have a balanced budget. So this is just a boon. We don't have any debt. So any extra money coming in can go straight back out to the people. And that's what this particular SNP government have done over the last 17 years. So we've seen the scrapping of road and bridge tolls. We have seen cheaper rail fares. We don't pay for prescriptions. We don't pay for higher education. Every child's born that's given a baby box to make sure they get the best start in life, and the box itself is a crib. There's no dental charges for the under 25s. Free bus travel for the 12 to 23-year-olds and the asylum seekers as of next year. Obviously, the council tax freeze for 12 of the last 13 years has been a massive boon. Whereas your council tax went up £1,000, where's has they moved? In the last 13 years, my council tax went up by 20 quid. 20 quid. You know, so this is what happens, you know, when you have good fiscal management. The mere fact that good fiscal management is forced upon us is maybe something that people of England might want to look at forcing upon a separate English Parliament if this union is going to stay together. Because when you get right down to it, the idea that we have a more progressive tax system is producing the result it's supposed to. That's what this is all about. This is what socialism's about. And it's about getting the balance right. It's about being honest with the people. Like, the reason why we haven't had that much industrial action up here is because the Scottish government's been able to be honest with the trade unions and the workers and go and put the books on the table, because we only have X amount and the pot is fixed. Whereas with Westminster, they can print money so they can just fucking fluctuate and do silly things. We can't do that. So when it comes to pay arrangements and pay agreements and things like that, the government can actually go and put the books in front of the people and say, right, okay, if we settle at this amount, nobody gets laid off and services get better. If you want any more than that, look at Joe Boggs in the face and tell him you're losing your job, dickhead. And that's how pay negotiations go up here. Because we have got a fixed budget which must be balanced by law. The reason why we have the advantages of free university tuition, things like that, is a matter of £4 a month. £4 a month for a medium earner. That's how much more tax I paid in you. £4. But my kids get free university education. My kids get to travel for free. My kids get free dental. My kids don't pay prescription charges when they get to 18 or 21 when they're fit. You know, that's what progressive taxation looks like. What's interesting is the Office for Budget Responsibility, the Tory created think tank which now governs UK expenditure when it comes to budgets and things like that. They've advised the UK government to do the same as Scotland because it would bring in an extra 11.9 billion quid a year, which is the whole cost of the Scottish, well, it used to be the whole cost of the Scottish NHS, but because of your more progressive tax system, out of your budget, we now give a third of it, 21 billion to your NHS. And when you read all this balls the Scottish NHS are about, it's propaganda.
Yeah.
It has its problems. COVID created problems for everybody. It is certainly nowhere near as bad as it is down that road. For a start, every city in this country's got a brand new fucking hospital. Every region in this country's got a brand new hospital. The school estates are brand new. There's no dropping fucking doing people's heads here. And that's what good taxation and good fiscal policy can do for you. The other thing about it is, although we don't control the economy, what we do control is the important things that drive an economy. Health, well-being, education. These are all essential things for a healthy economy. So if you've got a well-educated, fit, happy, healthy population, you're going to have a thriving economy. And that brings in, especially the educated part, that brings in investment. So for all we don't control things like business taxes, corporation tax and VAT and things like that, we can still attract inward investment just by doing the basics. Keeping people healthy, keeping them happy, and educating them.
Yep.
And that's why we can create inward investment. That's why we're the second most productive and the second biggest wealth creator in the UK out with the Southeast, and that's all banking. We have a diverse economy. We were talking about earlier about how we have turned food and drink into a massive industry. Good quality food and drink into a massive industry. We have a human human resources sector in our education which throws out great medical innovations. We have a thriving university sector. We have a great industrial sector. You want an engineer, you still go to Scotland for the engineer. You might not get the country built in Scotland, but you still go there for the engineer. You know, these are the things that we're selling, and these are the things that people need.
So,
and our economy is based on things that people actually need, not things that they think they need, like the service industry, the advertising industry, legals, and banking. No, they're based on things that people really need. Food, drink, structures to live in, machines that actually function properly, and good medical science, you know, and a good education system. So these things that the Scottish government can do, even though they don't control the economy, they've concentrated on doing that. In fact, the watchword up here in Scotland is well-being economy. We don't even want to measure our economy on GDP. We want to measure it on how well the people are doing. So we have things like the child benefit, the child uplift benefit, where every child who's eligible gets £26.80 a week to bring them out of poverty on top of the UK child benefit system and on top of the UK welfare system. So every single parent who is under a certain wage bracket here in Scotland, 52,000 quid I think it is per household, they get an extra £26.86 per week, per child, to ensure that the children don't live in poverty. And you want to know the second there is? The UK safety net is that bad. We still have 1 in 4 children in what they call relative poverty.
Mm. And we have destitute poverty still here in England, and it's
You have destitution now, yes, you do.
Yeah, which is absolutely disgusting.
And as you know what we do, Reagan, everything we got, you know there's still a need here. Everything we do, we raise money for food banks because there is still a need here. And mainly it's down to things like UK benefit sanctions and the inner cities, where if they can't find a job or they don't turn up to the brewing time or the unemployment service for those who are not as old as Darren and I, they get their benefits cut for 16 weeks.
Yeah.
They're left destitute for 16 weeks. Well, guess what? We compensate for that here and all.
Yeah. They should we've
got what's called the families and the families and persons emergency fund, £146 million a year we put in here, so that when there's sanctions for the UK government, the Scottish people get somewhere to go, so they're not destitute.
Yes, and it's just and as I'm sure as the rest of my colleagues here feel absolutely like, why is our government not doing the same things down here? It's just mind-boggling. Dave Blase, what's your thoughts on all that? How does it make you feel?
Pretty sick, really. Can't you move that border down just to give? Because like when I hear all that stuff, it just kind of reminded me of my time when I would having to deal with the DWP after I've finished my work on incapability, and the way you get treated, especially when you have to fight for everything. You have to fight, and they will make damn sure. It's like after my emergency spinal operation, I was just basically knackered. I used to work on my feet 8 hours a day. I can barely manage 10 minutes, and then I'm my back's in agony, and basically it's a case of now I'm. It hampers everything in my life, and it's a case of when I went for PIP, they knocked me back because she said that you walked in unaided. I was walking with a cane.
Darren, it's time for you to move, mate. That doesn't happen here. We don't have PIP up here. We have the Scottish Disability Allowance, and we don't have third-party non-medical people saying that you're no fit for work. We know your doctors enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and in the end up, when I went for a job fair, I was talking to a bloke. I went with my daughter, and the bloke said to me, Got people who do PIP here. Said, I've just watched you, so I can see 6 points in you already. Whereas when I went first time, I didn't get any. She said, so I'm walking unaided. And it was a straight up lie. I had a kid, and my wife was helping me.
You see, it doesn't happen. There's no ATOS assessing you here. Your doctor assesses you, sends it to the Scottish Benefit Service, and you get paid out. Simple as that.
Yeah. That's because a doctor is assessing you, and that's the problem. There's no doctor assessing you down here in England, and that's the complete and what I call complete fucking.
Well, the other thing I should tell you is the Scottish Disability Allowance is about 20% higher than the PIP.
Well, like I even remember when I was on intensive job search, I once fell over because I'm on meds for high blood pressure and stuff like that, and one night I had a bit of a funny turn and I fell and hurt my back, and I couldn't get out of bed, so I managed to get the doctor to see me and said, I'll give you a sick note because I'm supposed to be going to meet my works coach, So my wife sent it in, telling her what had happened, and they rejected it.
Right. As I say, the benefit system, which used to be there as a safety net, has now become a brutal stick to drive unfit people to do things that they're no fit for. And the amount of people that austerity has killed, you know the numbers yourself, Darren. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yeah. You're basically treated like you're a liar before you.
Alistair Kerr in the super chat there makes a very good point.
Yeah, I was just going to say thanks for that super chat. Yeah, he says, as I've said, England need the same social contract that the Scottish government has with its people. That the SG looks after its people.
Well, there's the point. We have a social contract. We have a social contract between our government and our people, and it's a left of centre social contract. So, but that doesn't mean if we get a Labour government or a Tory government or a Lib Dem government, they can't change it. Of course, they could get over that social contract.